Welcome to High Infidelity, the best cheating videos on YouTube. If you enjoy this content, remember to subscribe and turn on notifications. Now let's get into the video.
My 48 female daughter, 25 female, slept with elder daughters, 27 female, husband, and is now facing harsh treatment. My husband, 53 M, and I discovered around 3 years ago that my daughter Donna had an affair with our elder daughter Marina's husband, Leonard. It was particularly vexing since Marina had been our ped only a few weeks before. Marina was in a state of disarray as a result of her attack, and learning that her husband had been tampering with her sister didn't help her mental health. In brief, she was continually self-harming, suicidal, and had panic attacks and burst into tears at random. What made matters worse was Marina's insistence on blaming herself for her R*P and her husband's adultery. We placed her in treatment, and she's doing much better now, thank goodness. When I confronted Donna about this issue, she just said that she was pleasing Marina's husband since she was denying in a very condescending manner. I was so enraged that I wanted to slap her. How could she say that after such a heinous event? I told her flatly that she shouldn't contact me until Marina is at ease. She screamed, but I was done with it. After Marina and Leonard split, Hum and Donna were engaged, as my son Josiah informed me, and invited me and my husband to their wedding/engagement celebration. I was shocked that she had the arrogance to ask me such a question, and I politely rejected. I told her I loved her, but I couldn't be with her and bless her since she said awful things and hasn't apologized. She said that she and Leonard had my husband was in the same situation as her and cautioned her that if Leonard cheated on her, it's not out of the question that he'll cheat on her again. In the present, Donna was hammering on my door, begging with me to allow her in. I welcomed her in since she was crying and carrying a baby and a toddler. She was sobbing as she described Leonard's emotional and verbal abuse, as well as the fact that he had a second family. She doesn't want to live in a home with him any longer and wants to go. This is a difficult scenario for me since both of my daughters are struggling, but as much as I hate to admit it, one of them brought it on herself. Is there anybody who can assist me in this situation? Update. Donna is a stay-at-home mother, and Leonard is the only breadwinner. She informed me that when he was furious with her, he would cut and freeze her cards. I'm not aware of any domestic violence shelters in my region, but I'll check into it. I can also put Donna in contact with a divorce lawyer if she so desires. I'm conflicted because I want to assist her, but am hesitant because of all the pain she has caused Marina. Marina couldn't eat, would vomit, and had horrific dreams that kept her up and weeping all night. It was heartbreaking to see, and I will never forget it, so learning that the person who helped magnify this was seeking refuge made me angry. But her children are innocent, and I want to be a grandfather to them while also avoiding causing them hardship by removing them from their mother. Furthermore, I am concerned that taking in her children may lead her to relapse since it will remind her that the individuals who brought her more pain were meant to be the ones who safeguarded her. I haven't informed Marina about her sister's proposal yet since I'm afraid of how she'll respond. My husband is thinking of informing her, but I don't want him to make a hasty decision. I don't like the comments that claim Donna deserves to be emotionally abused, and I'd prefer it if they would stop. Update 2. I took your advice and met down with Marina to discuss Donna's request and the potential of bringing her or, at the very least, her children in. Marina seemed to be about to fall into tears as she yelled out that we had chosen to aid Donna over her. I realized that I was so preoccupied with having a happy family and becoming a grandfather that I was ignoring the person who was suffering the most in this circumstance. My husband and I apologized for ignoring Marina's sentiments and told her that Donna would not be living with us. Our connection has been strained a little, and I confess that I was a little selfish, seeing things through rose-colored glasses, which is damaging both me and my daughter's relationship. Because Donna and her children would not be living with us, I called my family to see if anybody might take her in. None of them would since Donna's treatment of Marina through a horrific occasion embarrassed them. The majority of them were outraged at me for proposing such a thing after what had transpired and informed me that it was retaliation for her acts. I then called Donna and told her that, although I care for her, she couldn't remain at my house because I needed to respond to Marina's needs, and make sure her mental health didn't deteriorate anymore. My husband and I are going to locate her a one-bedroom, one-bathroom apartment, but she will have to work for the rent/food/utilities, etc., and we have a divorce lawyer on retainer just in case. Donna wondered why she couldn't simply stay at my house, and I informed her that living with us would just add to Marina's stress and maybe worsen her mental health difficulties. I also told her she needed to grow up and find a job. Donna said that she hasn't worked in years and that she would need a place to live for free in order to get back on her feet. I informed her that I could cover the first month's rent, but that I would not be accepting her. She attempted to switch gears and utilize her children, but my husband stated he would pay for daycare until she found work. She began to yell at us and hurl insults at not just us, but even Marina. Marina, according to Donna, has to get over herself, and she has more needs than Marina. My husband yelled at her behind her back, claiming that if she had supported her sister instead of sleeping with her husband, this would not have occurred and she had only herself to blame. I honestly don't know what I did wrong in raising Donna to behave and say things like this. It's quite frustrating. Story 2. Fiancé of 11 years cheated. My 11-year fiancé cheated on me with her best friend and her best friend's boyfriend when she was visiting her out of state for the weekend. We've been battling before since we had a home fire and spent time in her mother's basement during the reconstruction, which took nearly 3 years and a tremendous amount of stress. We couldn't be very intimate since we shared a 500-square-foot apartment with our 2 children. The tension affected both of us, and I was not the greatest spouse. We began to resent each other. I gave up on the home because she hired her brother to finish it, which resulted in his stealing money and lying about the house's development. I was basically bashing her family whenever I complained or tried to get involved. This led to me drinking excessively and giving up all hope of ever returning to a normal life. She wanted to split up, and that's when I understood how much I stood to lose. I messed up and had to repair the home myself. We eventually moved in after 5 months of 14-hour days and dealing with the code inspector and felt like we were back on track. She did seem reluctant to re-establish our connection. We'd speak about having another child one day, and then I'd get cold shoulders for no apparent reason the next. We both promised to work things out after discussing separation 5 months ago. A week later, she traveled to Florida and the incident happened. I just found out about it, and I'm a nervous mess. Everything in our lives has been constructed jointly, from shared bank accounts to children. When she informed me, she stated it as if it were the heaviest weight she had ever lifted. We haven't spoken much since then. I intend to go, but that will leave me at my mother's since all I own has been invested in this home, which is in her name. I'm terrified about leaving my children and my life behind. My 2 children, who were 2 and 4 years old at the time of the fire, were robbed of having bedrooms or a space to play and now have bedrooms and a family room. I'm not trying to make excuses for her, but we were both mentally ill at the time. Along with her father's death, we had lost our family dog. Oh, and the pandemic for which I was laid off. I can't even begin to describe how stressed and terrified I was. We couldn't allow any romance to happen in those situations. Do I attempt to mend this relationship? Has anybody ever recovered from anything like this? I'm not the kind to discuss your emotions or seek guidance. This is a lonely agony. I'm reaching out here so that I may remain anonymous.